The placenta is an amazing organ that starts to grow early on in pregnancy, and it supports your baby. Your body is feeding your baby blood, oxygen, and nutrients through the placenta and the umbilical cord. And if anything happens to the placenta or the umbilical cord, it could cause problems for you or the baby. One of these problems is a placenta previa. Now, the placenta should normally attach itself into certain layers of the uterine wall, but in the case of a placenta previa, it's attached itself over the cervix. And this is bad for a couple of reasons. First of all, if the placenta is the baby's lifeline, it makes sense that it can't be delivered first. Under normal circumstances, the baby comes and then the placenta detaches from the uterine wall and is delivered after the baby's born. Now, the second problem is that the placenta is highly vascular and it's over the cervix, and the cervix is what normally thins out and opens up so the baby can be born. So if you have contractions or your cervix starts to dilate, you could bleed a lot, and this could potentially affect your well-being and your baby's well-being. So this is why a C-section is necessary for women who have a placenta previa. You mentioned that you're 36 weeks and you're concerned about a C-section, and it would be best for you to sit down and have a conversation with your OB provider. They can shed more light on the situation with you and help you understand why it would be the best thing for you to do. Now, as with all things, there are risks. There are risks and there are benefits. And the benefits of having a C-section with this delivery, because you have a placenta previa, far outweigh any of the risks. Your doctor's goal for you and your baby is that you're both healthy and strong. And I'm assuming that that's your goal too. Sometimes a C-section is a necessary detour in order to achieve good outcomes. Your doctor will schedule a day for you to go to the hospital, and once you arrive, the nurses and staff will obtain your history, they'll start an IV, monitor you and the baby, and begin to coordinate care with your doctor and with an anesthesiologist. The most common forms of anesthesia for a C-section are either an epidural or a spinal block, and this allows you to be awake and alert during the delivery so that you can hear your baby cry for the first time and enjoy that special moment. If at any time you notice that you have vaginal bleeding, even if you just wipe and see a little spot on the toilet paper, make sure you're seen as soon as possible on labor and delivery. The staff there will check you out and make sure that you and the baby are doing okay and monitor the bleeding to see if it's increasing or if it's starting to decrease, and based on that, decide if anything needs to be done about it. If you were to come into the hospital and you were having an active bleeding episode, then your C-section would be done sooner rather than later in order to prevent complications from happening, or basically to prevent you from losing too much blood or from your baby being compromised. So always get checked out if you have any concerns about it. If you have more questions about it, again, don't hesitate to ask your OB provider. And if you have more questions from me in the future, please feel free to ask them on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Intermountain Moms, and recommend us to your friends and family too.